What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about NIO. I want to go over some of the data points, what's moving it, and what shorts are up to. Before we get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So NIO's down 3.8%, 460 the high, 438 the low. So as soon as the market opened, it went down like a rock. And a lot of that is just typical manipulation. So institutions wait up until market open just to buy puts, and then they are freely open to kind of bring the stock price down. Aside from that though, even during the overnight trading, you can kind of see that the market wasn't generally liking the numbers that NIO did put out. So at the low, it was around about 457, give or take. So that was kind of the overnight low. So absolute craziness that is happening. In my opinion, the broader market is starting to really rally because of some of the data that did come out. So I wouldn't be surprised if NIO does see some nice recovery in the second half of the day. So once I go over some of the technicals, that'll make a little bit more sense. But aside from that though, we did have one data point that came out from China Sunday evening, and that was the rating dog manufacturing came in at 50.3. Forecast of 50.5. So nothing too crazy, no speculative macro topics coming from China. So NIO and other Chinese stocks are just at the mercy of the broader market. In NIO's case, the market is digesting the monthly numbers, and no different than what I mentioned yesterday. I felt that bears were going to hang on to a certain kind of data. So for instance, this 27,000 is good for January numbers, which is usually seasonally low, and so year over year that did go up 96.1%, but month over month it went down. Similarly, Onvo and Firefly did go down, so I think just a lot of bears and shorts were going to focus on that. This is why I kind of brought that up in my video yesterday, so don't shoot the messenger, but turns out that's exactly how it did play out. One thing to take note of though is that of that 27,000, roughly around, I think it's like 63-65% is linked to ES8. So ES8 is a huge deal for NIO. And then eventually, was it Q2 or Q3, when ES9 is going to be kind of launched and out there, then that's where we might see a huge increase in these numbers. So let me know your viewpoint on NIO, and if you're kind of under the impression that these are good numbers, or are you kind of neutral? So let me know your viewpoint on that. The only other thing that kind of came out was this right here, just kind of more global expansion. So this was originally announced, I think like 4 or 5 months ago, saying that they were going to be expanding, and this is with this partnership. So Abu, whatever, I'm not going to butcher their name, but nonetheless, I think this is kind of a good thing overall. I know I initially did mention that this location that they're going to doesn't have that good of infrastructure, and a lot of individuals kind of were like, hey, I'm wrong. I kind of did some research. It's only a couple hundred overall that is EVs that's purchased in this country. So I think in general, this still isn't that crazy of a catalyst. It might develop into something bigger in the next couple of years, but I think for face value, it's still somewhat kind of neutral. At the time of doing this video, shorts are increasing 1.1 million shares. So even in my pre-market video, I think shorts were increasing about 300,000 at that stage. So shorts are fairly active today. Right now, 7.92% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 161 million shares overall being shorted. So still see some signs of naked shorting, so more shares being shorted than alone. And as I mentioned, this right here was shorts doubling and tripling down. So at the peak, shorts were increasing about 6.7 million shares. So this is why straight out the gate, they brought it down. And if we pop over here, you can kind of see exactly that puts it in perspective. So as I mentioned, this is a very common strategy that institutions like to do. They wait up until market open, they buy puts, then they bring the stock price down, whether that be through shorting or other means. But that way their puts appreciate as the stock price does go down. Even looking at today, 4.5 million in calls, 941,000 in puts, 48% of all the options being done are bearish in nature. Again, a lot of that was just initial kind of just assuming it's going to go down first thing. So definitely some signs of manipulation. From a bull standpoint, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around 450 to 5. So a little bit more upside Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 450. So kind of where we're at right now, exactly at 451. It could go potentially either way. No big transactions occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. So big money is not really buying the dip as much as I'm sure people would like to see. Then these are all the transactions occurring on the dark pool. So given how active shorts are, it is fair to assume that all of these are linked to them. So that's one of the biggest things. So I've been covering NIO for quite some time, and shorts, just institutions for whatever reason, doesn't matter what the PS ratio is, even if it's below 1, which I believe it currently is right now. So even if NIO's trading at a discount, institutions, oddly enough, just don't want to touch it. So it's just a very weird type of thing. So I think just Wall Street doesn't like ADRs ultimately, but right now, with at 451, it is right above this S2, so 448 is going to be that key level that you really want to watch for NIO to close above today. Flip side, 431 and 459 is going to be the next strong support as well as target. But aside from all that, quickly popping back over here on the actual chart, as I kind of mentioned in my video yesterday, Monday was going to be a big day for NIO. So it was either going to really push it and test that 50-day moving average. So Thursday and Friday last week, it bounced off that 50-day moving average. And then today we kind of had that crazy sell off to 438. So we are unfortunately making some new lows on this cycle right here. But if you do believe in NIO, I think just this might be a good time to potentially dollar cost average or buy. As I've mentioned, even when it was going up, very difficult to catch the bottoms as well as the highs. It's just dollar cost averaging is kind of the way to go. But sentiment is kind of poor. So if you, again, kind of pop onto Twitter, research and kind of look at what people are saying, a lot of people are very bearish on NIO. So I think even back here when NIO was at like at the $6-7 range, it showed a lot of signs that it was going to be getting back to kind of double digits. A lot of people were kind of throwing out 100. I think that was a hashtag 100 was trending or whatever. But yeah, I think just given NIO's price action that has happened, not just this time, but even in the past, back in 2024, it's just one of those very frustrating things that NIO just is unable to really hold any substantial gains. So I think just NIO really does need to kind of do something. And but still, at the end of the day, it's shorts and manipulation. And as long as institutions don't buy NIO for right now, like, manipulation can run as much as it wants. So I think just institutions really need to get on board for NIO and everything else. So let me know your thoughts on NIO. Are you buying more? Are you selling? Where do you realistically see things going from here? Despite all the recent operational progress, do you think that we are still going to break down a little bit more, or are we going to kind of move higher? So let me know your thoughts on NIO. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto. Put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades. Worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.